We have one presenter this morning, Roger Summers from Arch Analytic is going to come talk to us about their product Archware, and I will let him, as soon as I flip over to his computer, take it away. Just here.
Good morning. Again, my name is Roger Summers. I'm the CEO of Arch Analytic.
Grab it.
So, Deepwater Horizon, 11 men, sons, brothers, fathers, died because SOPs were ignored. KD Pharmaceuticals, dispensing drugs that contain 4 to 10 times the listed label claim, putting at risk thousands of children's lives. A gross failure to follow and review SOPs. SOPs keep you and the ones you love alive. So what exactly is a standard operating procedure? I want you to think recipe. It's a detailed recipe. Here's an example of an SOP. I know it's kind of hard to see, but this one is for help determining bacterial contamination. You have headers, formatting, different sections, and then the actual procedure begins below. Again, think recipe, like weigh 20 grams of sodium chloride. Seems like a simple enough task. In fact, it requires at least 7 different pieces of information to meet compliance. Information such as instrument histories, reagent expiration, manufacturer lot numbers, etc. So what can an SOP do? It helps standardize, easier to follow and execute a process, know when and what we are doing for our process, make sure we can reproduce results for every process, and demonstrates we have done what we said we did, all of which contribute to a reduction in process failures and recalls, keeping you and the ones you love alive. Who uses SOPs? In addition to the industry scene here, they include aviation, finance, telecommunications. Any manufacturing or testing facility can use Archware now. SOPs seem like a good thing, so then what's the problem? Well, you have the SOP in one hand, and then you have paper and pencil in the other hand. And you have to transcribe, basically rewrite the SOP along with all of the associated data you have to collect. After recording, that packet is then handed off to a quality assurance group for review. It's a 19th century approach. It's inefficient. Typical turnaround time is anywhere from 1 week to a month or more. In high quality environments, mistakes are always made and must be reconciled. Approvals this way can take years to collect and assemble the information. 10 to 15% of the work is repeated, hopefully before recalls. What if we could automate data entry and review? It's time to bring SOPs into the 21st century. Archware is the solution that automates recording and reviewing of SOPs. Additionally, it unifies many previously disparate platforms onto a single, simple program. Your tech opens the Archware console. You use your existing systems and SOPs directly without having to create any new documents, easing the adoption. Then you execute these on a tablet device with one of these, a lanyard warden scanner. It does not interfere with any of the existing IT, and we store all the data and manage it. Again, easing the adoption. Convert, execute, and archive, all using a single access point. Cost reduction and enhanced productivity by at least 5-fold for each. Transcription. Think passwords. How many times do you have to re-enter in a password? Then QA has a cycle time before they can even begin this review. There may be even several levels of review. QA also requires a physical return. I mean, they actually have to walk over back to the operating environment to check all of this information. All errors must be reconciled by the tech who collected the data, no matter how minor, for approval. The process is then repeated like this over and over until we have a clean packet. Data and documentation must be collected from multiple sources. Documents lost, misplaced, failures to demonstrate the process. With Archware, step 1 is verified before step 2 can proceed. When you are through, you're going to be 99% or greater compliant without the need for further review. No more recording, locating, items, logbooks, and other documentation. A single point of access with remote audit capability. Huge demand for large pharma, working with contract labs, not to mention the FDA. Here's the Archware console. This console unifies It manages many disparate systems. You see that over on the left. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Archware uses Word. It uses 7 icons. And when you look at these 7 icons, you will intuitively know how to use them. And this is a patent pending process. Finally, we get to the execution screen. You release the document and you begin. You're handed the tablet and the scanner, and you're good to go. So, how does Archware compare to the competition? It's complicated, but let me try to explain. There's a thing out there called Laboratory Information Management Systems. It's like 5,000 independent programs. Document control, out of specification, inventory and product management, and on and on. All these different things to help you manage your quality systems. LIMS was developed in the 90s and is based on antiquated approaches, legacy systems. Think Windows 3.1. Expensive, and companies will only purchase a few of these elements. Some LIMS might contain an ELN, or electronic laboratory notebook component. A few more will have an LES, or a laboratory execution system. There's only 4 of these to date. We'll talk more about that as I go along. So, ours, we hand you a tablet and a scanner, and you are good to go. No customization required. And we manage all of the data. It does not interfere with the existing IT. Theirs, as outlined, many individual software programs that manage single components, needs high customization and lead times to install. Barriers to entry, simplicity. After giving you a 5-minute demo of Archware, you will know exactly how to implement and use the system. Theirs, most are built on legacy LIMS design that still use Windows 3.1-like architecture. Drop down after drop down after drop down menu to get to where you need to be. Time-consuming and frustrating. All of these legacy systems were not built with mobility in mind. So they're trying to make the existing systems work instead of building what works. We are the only technology that enables automatic execution and review. Very few companies have gone over to the electronic laboratory notebooks and are just examining the technology. A few LESs, or laboratory execution systems, are built on a failure by exception rule, where the incorrect entries are highlighted only to be found later upon review. So in other words, it doesn't halt the process. We have a laser focus on the pharmaceutical industry. Competitors charge anywhere from $40 to $1,000 and up per license, depending on systems provided, not to mention installation and customization costs. The industry is ripe for disruption. Companies are desperate for solutions to effectively manage quality and compliance, spending billions annually at about a 7.8% growth rate. Many companies are ready to replace their existing electronic systems or their pen and paper and are looking for better solutions. In 5 years, we expect 10% market penetration. This is for each user. If each company takes 2 licenses, this total doubles. It's scalable and reoccurring. This is for US pharma alone. Overseas market has great potential as well. After successful implementation in one of the most highly regulated industries, Archware is easily adapted. The process is easily adapted for other industries. Archware is the industry solution, is the industry disruptive technology that will change the way regulated business is conducted. Our timeline to market is 6 months. We've got a detailed and extensive business plan. We're beta testing with multiple users. Archware can currently be used in very specific environments now. We have many letters of support and are now in discussions for letters of intent with dollar amounts, provided the platform contains electronic signatures and cloud source data. Won't go over funds needed. This is who we are. I'm a pharmaceutical chemist. I know the pain firsthand, experienced it well. Justin, the CTO, has envisioned the patent superbly. Adam, the software engineer, IP attorney, not listed. Ken Wright, tax attorney, helps us with a lot of our documents. Jane Vansel from I-10, and Bear Studios, helping with marketing the story. And please just don't take my word for it. Here are some of the testimonials from the people who have seen Archware firsthand. We really like the FDA's comments and support that they've provided for us. Thank you. Questions?
What type of revenue do you see that you'll need to stay in business? Meaning that, for example, for a company, for at least a manufacturing company to adopt your technology, we can't have you vanish off the market after 5 years after going out of business, because a software program like this is a big expense, and so we need you to stay in business. So how much revenue do you need to see to occur to stay in business so you can keep supporting our software purchase?
The quick answer is $150,000 a year. That keeps our developers on board and our support in place. Josh asked that question because his company is actually looking hard at our software right now. Thanks, Josh.
I guess I've got two questions. One is that FDA is not typically in the business of endorsing individual companies. I'm very curious if that's an accurate statement that you made or if that's hyperbole. The second is that pharmaceutical manufacturing industry, as you said, is highly regulated. I imagine that there are other regulatory hurdles that you need to go through, certifications, et cetera. What are those, and how difficult are they to get? What's the timeline?
Okay, so first of all, this is feedback we got from a government grant we applied for, okay? This was some of the highlights that they said. To their knowledge, there's nothing that's doing what we're currently doing on the market, and that's what I wanted to point out, okay? So this was feedback we received from a grant where we actually scored. It was a good thing. The second question, what was the second question again? Exactly? Oh, the regulatory hurdles, yeah. So there's this thing called electronic signatures, okay? So we have to be what's called 21 CFR Part 11 compliant, right? Which basically enables an audit trail. So we know that none of the data has been manipulated once it's been entered, okay? That's a simple program and a piece of software that we need to put in place.
But it's not in place.
No, not currently. So that's where we're at in this timeline. So the LOIs and things like that are dependent upon having these electronic signatures in place.
So your growth rate is really awesome. Can you give more insight into how you plan to capture 2% of the market every year over the next 5 years?
Aggressive marketing. Okay, we need to let people know that this solution exists. They're out there looking for a current solution to help manage their environments and things like that. We need to get into trade shows and conventions, show the product. When people see Archware for the first time, they're amazed. A lot of people that we've worked with, software developers, are telling us, wow, our clients can really use this product. In addition to some of the businesses that we've been currently working with. We just have to show that our product and how it compares to everybody else in the market. A lot of the newer types of electronic data management systems that are out there, their tagline is, love your limbs again, or a limbs you can love, okay? People hate using this technology because it's so cumbersome, but it's the only solution currently available.
More questions? Okay, so Roger, I have to answer the 1 million cups question, which is what can the community do for you?
Just get the word out. You know, that's why I just want to kind of help raise our visibility here a little bit, let people know. So if you know an environment or a company that uses SOPs, again, any manufacturing or testing environment can use Archware. We can't be used in regulated situations yet, probably for not another 6 months, but there are plenty of unregulated industries out there who use manufacturing protocols and procedures.
All right. Oh, Josh, do you have another question?
Do you see yourself being acquired, like by one of the larger companies?
One of these LIMS companies could definitely say, and you know what, we like that, our customers need that technology, we're take it. Microsoft has also expressed an interest. The cloud storage data that we have is enormous, okay? So we're managing all of the data. I mean, if you think about pharmaceutical products and all of the information that's associated with them, and cloud data management is really big dollar-wise right now. So a lot of the larger, you know, the Cisco's and types of things could be a possible exit. But we're not really interested in an exit strategy. We really want to build something that people can use and change the way that regulated business is conducted in a simple, more effective way. Give faster approvals for drugs, all of these types of things.
So is the product currently in use?
It is. We have a company that's currently testing it. There are several users who are using it.
Are you generating any revenues
No.
from that?
No.
So they're just beta testing?
Just beta testing.
So you mentioned the availability to design, like to add on features that a company may want. Like, is that still possible? Like, is that an actual part of your business plan? Is customization?
So down the road, and I can give anybody a demo of this later if they'd like to see. With a platform like this, there's so much we can do. Time tracking is one of the big ones because everything is done on the console. So this is a big thing for product management. Also, the reagents and consumables that are used in a process can be tracked to the actual microgram. I mean, you'll know exactly how much you're using, how much time you're spending. So that's really big for product management. There are other types of technology that we can incorporate, but right now the basic thing is just to help execute these SOPs, put it all on a single platform, make them easy to audit, make sure that you're compliant when they're done, and increase safety.
Anything else?
How experienced, because Intercon Chemical is looking at upgrading our software. And so we're at the point of like, well, we can go with established companies, or we're also looking at what you offer. And so that's why I have a question.
So this is the tension right now we have between investment and letters of intent, right?
Right.
You know, when we were working with software companies, a lot of these larger companies would come to these software companies with these high-value SOPs and ask them to make them electronic so that they could execute them repeatedly. And that's why a lot of the response we get, we had to keep things really close to the vest. They're like, our companies could really, we know a lot of companies who can use this right now because they can take any SOP and convert it in Word directly using their existing document. They don't have to create any new documents. Opposed to our competitors, where you got to go through these complicated procedures just to make one of these laboratory executions, right? It's not something you're going to want to do a lot. So, but this tension about does the company invest in us, like yours, or an investment? And so, you know, the company's just going to have to take a leap of faith, or the investors are going to have to take a leap of faith, and that's where we're at.
But my question was, so like what does the skill level of the manual labor workforce have to be? Meaning that we'll have temps to $10 to $15 an hour employees. Like, in order to hold on to a lanyard, like, is a $7.25 an hour guy, like, is he just going to toss it in the trash if he doesn't care?
No, he better not. His supervisor better come and hunt him down.
Let's say, how vulnerable is this system because of its components to poor employees?
The tablet can actually be worn on a holster, and it's actually tethered, right? So we've actually got a device that if you drop it, the holster will catch it. And then you can just slide that back into the holster easy. You can also wear them around your shoulder. I did bring that in today to show, but that's one thing. A lot of these procedures, you don't even need to look at the SOP. You can just scan, hear the auditory confirmation that the data was entered correctly, and continue to move on in the process. And then when you had to make some type of manual entry, like write in a color or something like that, the tablet actually has a little holder on the outside. It's just like drawing up something out of a holster. You enter in the data, you put it right back in.
Okay. Cool. Anything else? All right. Thank you so much. And you can follow up with Roger afterwards and grab more coffee and come back. Let's see, next week we have Sketch Development Services that's coming to talk. So come back, bring a friend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.